This is your Armchair Detective, and today I'd like to tell you about the case of the killer at the party. It was a gay weekend party at a positively delightful old English home. The hosts were Sir Charles Braddon and his wife Stella, and the guests included their musician son Tony and his actress wife Christine. With them were smooth man-about-town Godfrey Sanders, a business associate of Sir Charles and formerly involved romantically with Christine. Young Pepper Maltby, the rather weak-faced nephew of Stella Braddon, and, of course, the inevitable family friend, Kevin Oliver. Well, now, things were going quite swimmingly until the Sunday afternoon, when a sudden storm confined the guests to the house. Party games were quickly organized, but the fun turned to sudden tragedy when, during a game of blindman's buff, Godfrey Sanders, apparently, fell through a trap door and tumbled 15 feet to the cellar beneath, fracturing his skull and dying instantly. It was more than half an hour before his body was discovered because the house was a large 18th century place, almost a castle, and there were so many places to search for anyone. Actually, it was a shocked Sir Charles Braddon himself who finally lifted the trap door and saw the grotesquely sprawled body of Godfrey Sanders, still wearing a handkerchief over his eyes. Now, the Braddons' nearest neighbour happened to be the police surgeon, Dr. Monty, and he was hastily summoned. After an examination of the body, Dr. Monty asked Sir Charles to repeat his story in detail. Braddon obliged, and when he'd finished, collapsed into an armchair. "What a dreadful accident, Dr. Monty," he said heavily. "Dreadful, yes, Sir Charles, but an accident, no. From what you've told me, it's quite clear that Godfrey Sanders was murdered." Sir Charles Braddon just sat and gaped at the police surgeon. Had the man taken leave of his senses? No, Dr. Monty had not suddenly taken leave of his senses. Telling how he'd found the body of Godfrey Sanders, you'll remember Sir Charles Braddon said he had opened the trapdoor. Now, had Sanders' death been an accident, had he fallen down a trapdoor carelessly left open, that trapdoor would have still been open when his body was found. Oh, yes, it was apparent that Sanders had been dropped through the trapdoor, and his murderer had then unthinkingly closed it when he had finished his grim task. Well, the police were sent for, and it didn't take them long to sheet home the murder to Sir Charles Braddon's son, Tony. Discovering his wife was still having an affair with Sanders, he'd taken the opportunity presented by the game of blindman's buff to attack his unsuspecting rival with a pair of fire tongs. After which, young Braddon dropped him through the trapdoor to give the appearance of an accident. Had he only thought to leave it open afterwards, he just might have avoided dropping through a government-sponsored trapdoor himself some few months later.